When Ivanka Trump's lawyers threatened to drag Jasmine Crockett into a high-profile lawsuit, they expected fear and silence. What they got instead was a blistering counterpunch that flipped the power dynamic overnight. The story hit the headlines, before Jasmine even had time to read it herself. A late afternoon news alert that spread across political blogs and cable networks. Ivanka Trump threatens legal action against Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett over public comments. The words spread like a stone hurled into stormy water, rippling through the political press, late-night TV, and the halls of Congress. Only hours earlier, Jasmine had been leaving a committee meeting on Capitol Hill, her phone buzzing with messages from reporters. All of them wanted the same thing, her reaction, but she didn't even know what they were talking about yet. By the time she reached her office, her staff had already printed out a PDF copy of the cease and desist letter. It was heavy with legal jargon, stamped with the letterhead of a New York firm known for representing celebrities. Have you read it yet? Her communications director, Thomas, asked, handing her the document. Jasmine dropped her purse on the desk, unbuttoned her blazer, and sat down slowly. No, but I can already tell this isn't a friendly letter. The letter accused her of making false and defamatory statements about Ivanka's role in ongoing political controversies. It demanded an apology and the removal of her comments from every platform. It threatened a vigorous and public legal battle if she refused. The phrasing was deliberate, meant to intimidate, meant to make someone hesitate before speaking again. But hesitation was not in Jasmine Crockett's nature. Still, she knew the bigger stakes. If she backed down, it wouldn't just be her credibility at risk. It would send a chilling message that powerful families could silence critics. With enough money and lawyers, her chief of staff Maya stepped in mid-read. This isn't about truth. It's about control. They want you second-guessing yourself every time you open your mouth. Jasmine leaned back in her chair. Well, they're about to learn I don't scare easy. She had been here before. Threatened with political backlash, smear campaigns, veiled warnings, as a public defender and later as a legislator. But this was different. This was Ivanka Trump, a name with dynasty weight and PR muscle. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus, a political correspondent, calling. She answered on speaker. Congresswoman Crockett, are you going to apologize? His voice was eager, sharp. Apologize for telling the truth? No, and that's on the record. There was a pause, then a chuckle. That'll make headlines tonight. As soon as she hung up, Thomas muttered, They're betting you'll flinch. Hire a PR guy. Issue some watered-down statement. Make it disappear. But Jasmine wasn't about to play that game. She needed the right lawyer. Someone unshaken by celebrity pressure. She picked up her desk phone and dialed from memory. Lena, it's Jasmine. I've got a situation. Can you come by tonight? Lena Rowe had been her ally for over a decade, back when both fought for clients who couldn't afford representation. Now, Lena ran a boutique law firm specializing in political defense. She was tough, unflappable, and fiercely loyal. Give me 3 hours, Lena said, and don't talk to the press until I get there. Jasmine exhaled. I'll try. By sundown, the story was trending nationwide. Hashtags exploded, some mocking Ivanka for bullying, others demanding Jasmine retract. Pundits dissected the letter as though it had already gone to trial. Jasmine muted the TV. She didn't need talking heads to explain what was at stake. This was bigger than a spat. This was about whether truth could survive when legal intimidation became a weapon. But what Ivanka's team didn't know, Jasmine had receipts. 3 hours later, Lena arrived, trench coat damp from rain, briefcase under her arm. She didn't bother with small talk. Show me the letter. Jasmine slid the pages across. Lena adjusted her glasses, reading with quiet precision. Her eyebrow arched occasionally, a signal Jasmine knew meant weakness spotted. This isn't a lawsuit, Lena said finally. It's a scare tactic. Broad claims, no evidence. But the media's already spinning it like I'm in trouble, Thomas pressed. Exactly their design, Lena replied. They send the letter, the press runs the story, and even if it never goes to court, they've planted the seed you did something wrong. Weaponized reputation management. Jasmine folded her arms. So what's our first move? First, Lena said, you tell me exactly what you said. Jasmine pulled up a clip from a recent town hall in San Antonio. On stage, she had answered, a question about ethics. When you look at the conflicts of interest and potential abuses of influence surrounding the last administration, you can't ignore the role Ivanka Trump played. Public office isn't a brand-building exercise, it's public service. Lena replayed it twice, then nodded. That's an opinion grounded in fact. You didn't accuse her of a crime. That's protected speech. Then why the attack? Jasmine asked. Because you hit a nerve, Lena said flatly. And when people like Ivanka get rattled, they don't debate you. They try to silence you. The rain tapped the window as silence filled the room. Thomas added, they're betting you'll fold before it gets ugly. But if we stand, we can flip this. Lena leaned in. I'll draft a response tonight, not just a denial, a warning. If they sue, discovery kicks in. That means we get access to documents, emails, testimony, things she probably doesn't want exposed. Jasmine smirked. So if they want to play hardball, we throw the ball back, Lena finished. They worked late into the night. By midnight, Lena had a draft, sharp, factual, dismantling Ivanka's claims one by one. The final paragraph hit hardest. Any lawsuit would expose Ivanka to discovery obligations. Jasmine read it slowly, then looked up. This isn't a defense. It's a warning shot. Exactly. Lena smiled faintly. The next morning, Jasmine sat in her kitchen, black coffee cooling beside her laptop. Headlines screamed, Congresswoman, in legal trouble after Trump comments. Her brother texted, you good? Watch your back. She replied, I'm fine. At 8 a.m. Lena called. We send the letter at noon. It's airtight. Good, Jasmine said. I've got a TV interview at 11. I'll keep it short and measured. Measured was smart, but firm was better. The 11 a.m. interview began with the inevitable question. Congresswoman, Ivanka Trump's legal team says your comments were false and damaging. Will you fight this in court? I'll defend the truth, Jasmine answered. My remarks were based on public information and my responsibility as an elected official. That's not defamation, that's democracy. So no apology? No, you don't apologize for telling the truth. The clip went viral. Back at her house, Lena arrived with the final letter in a crisp envelope. Jasmine scanned the first line. Your letter contains multiple mischaracterizations and unfounded accusations, which we categorically reject. She handed it back. Send it. And so began the waiting game. By late afternoon, cable news legal analysts were dissecting Lena's response, calling it precise, and warning that a lawsuit could backfire spectacularly on Ivanka. One panelist, a former judge, said bluntly, if I were advising her, I'd tell her to drop this fast. The weight was shifting. Within days, Ivanka's team grew silent. Too silent. No counter letter, no escalation. Lena read their pause correctly. Hesitation. They're regrouping, she told Jasmine, asking themselves if another swing makes them look foolish. Or worse, exposes cracks they can't afford. Jasmine's confidence hardened. Then we keep the spotlight on them. They drafted an op-ed for a national paper, framing the fight as bigger than one dispute, a battle against legal intimidation. It didn't name Ivanka, but the subtext was clear, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Soon, whispers emerged that Ivanka's team was re-evaluating options. Quiet leaks suggested discovery could be dangerous. Cable news panels echoed the warning. Late-night hosts mocked the lawsuit that never was. Jasmine stayed visible. Town halls, radio shows. Charity events. Every stage became an opportunity to reinforce her message. Truth matters. Intimidation won't work. Lena pressed their advantage. She quietly leaked the existence of documents that could surface in discovery. Nothing specific, just enough to rattle nerves. By the weekend, insider blogs reported Ivanka's attorneys were softening. Then came an email. We respectfully disagree with your position but are considering all legal remedies. Lena smirked. Translation. They're buying time. And indeed, behind closed doors, Ivanka's advisors were divided. Some pushed to sue. Others warned it could open a can of worms we can't close. Her attorney urged retreat. Her PR team dreaded the optics of looking afraid. But the tide outside was undeniable. Jasmine was being painted as David standing against Goliath. Finally, a short email arrived from Ivanka's lead attorney. After careful consideration, our client has decided not to pursue further action at this time. Thomas read it twice. That's as close to waving a white flag as you'll ever get. Jasmine smiled faintly. And they didn't even get the apology, Lena cautioned against gloating. Let the story fade. The last image people have is you standing firm while they blinked. That's enough. And that's exactly what happened. Reporters pieced it together over the weekend. Ivanka Trump backs off legal threat. Headlines reframed the saga as a political win for Jasmine Crockett. In El Paso that weekend, constituents approached her with congratulations. Jasmine remained modest. I just did what anyone should do, stand by the truth. But privately, she understood the deeper lesson. Power had tried to silence her, and failed. Back in Dallas, her office filled with handwritten letters. One from a civics teacher in Lubbock stood out. My students watched your interview. They needed to see what conviction looks like in the real world. Jasmine leaned back, letting the words sink in. The legal threat had never been about one comment. It had been about whether truth could withstand pressure from wealth and influence. And this time, truth held.